All right, I'm getting an early start this morning to start working on the boat. The things I'm going to do today are reinstall the steering rotary thing that takes the cable and the steering wheel, and get that all hooked up and ready to go. I'm also going to put some new bolts in the winch on the front. That had improper bolts for it and wasn't working properly, and it was kind of wobbly and everything, so I'm going to do that. And while I'm at it, I'm doing a strap because the little rope that was on it that was pretty old, when I was trying to crank the boat back up from working on the hole in the back, it broke. This is the thing I'm installing. This shaft here is thicker than this shaft here for whatever reason. So I'm going to have to drill out my hole. I'm going to use this guy to get it where I can fit this one in it. I had backed this boat up a little bit to so I could get to that hole in the back. So you can see kind of this goes here. I've kind of pulled it back up a little bit, but this broke right off, and it's a good thing that it happened here and not at the boat ramp. So what I'm doing with this is, whoever had this installed before had a bunch of just various junk here that doesn't fit it. So I went and bought some stainless steel 1 inch 3/8 parts to to bolt this back in position and be proper. Well, it looks like it's going to be another disappointing week. Hooked water underneath the motor and started the motor up, and it's running, but it's still, even with the new spark plug, it's still misfiring on, it's not firing on the one cylinder. So I've come to the conclusion just to order some new coils for the 2 spark plugs, and also it's not spitting water still. So while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and get a thermostat and put that in. I've also been having trouble with it not turning over because of connections here at the battery, and these wires are in horrible shape. They're cracked, and this one here you can see is getting corrosion. And earlier when I was having an issue with it, I noticed these 2 wires, because they're kind of cracked, they were overlapping each other, and I think they were shorting each other out. So when I moved the wires a bit, to get them away from each other, it started working. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take these old cables. I knew I was going to eventually do it anyway. When I start doing the rewiring, I'm going to go ahead and I knew I was going to replace those, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it now while I'm waiting on the other parts, and that way it won't slow me down later.
I don't want to forget my shrink wrap first. Slide that over. All right, I'm good and connected again.
I received my thermostat and the coil, and I've installed the coil, and with the tester I found that it is still not firing. So I went ahead and ordered a power pack here, and I'm going to replace that this coming week. I've got it ordered. It'll be here in 3 days. So I'm hoping that this is the last thing I have to do to get this cylinder to fire. Other than that, I didn't get the right gasket for this thermostat housing, so I'm waiting to install that, and I'll do that. I get that part on the 11th, so I'll get that and install that. I'm still not getting water to pump up to the engine, and it has nothing to do with the thermostat. So I may have to take this lower unit apart again and check it to make sure it's all proper down there. And this time when I put water in this tank, I tried it where it would get above the water pump to hopefully prime it. I'm going to do that next time right off the bat, because I'm thinking that maybe that impeller ran in there. I did have it somewhat greased, but it may not have. It may have ran and kind of seized itself up because it was running dry, because it didn't have the water level up. I'm just hoping that's it. I don't, I have tried with the earmuffs, and I've tried with the lower unit below the line, where the intake line, but I've heard that in some cases the water level needs to be up high enough to prime it. So that's going to be next on the list. Well, I got bored waiting on parts and wanting to get something done, so I decided to go ahead and start doing a little bit of work on the removal of the carpet glue and the carpet that's stuck on the side of the boat, and get it somewhat ready for painting. I'll end up doing that around this area here and this area here before I build my deck. I'm guessing my deck is going to have to come almost to the top of here to be able to get it high enough up so that I can have room for a battery and storage in there. So I'm going to have to bring it kind of high. You'll notice I bought a trolling motor. I picked that up on Craigslist for $200. It's a Motor Guide X3, and it's going to probably pretty much mount the way you see it there. I'm still trying to make a decision on whether to put a back deck in it or not. I'll make that decision later, but it's coming together little by little. But I'm still constantly having to wait for parts and then find out I need more parts. But it won't be too long. I'll have that motor completely redone. The only thing I haven't done to it is replace the rings and stuff in it, I think. But we're getting there.